Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Simona and in today's video I will be reviewing some of Makeup Revolution's new products. I'm talking about the new Eyeshadow Revolution quads, and also I've ordered the new Sculpting bronzer they've released, I think 2 months ago. I must admit that the reason that I've ordered these new products is because their packaging is absolutely stunning, and I've been curious to find out what is the quality of the new releases. Now, I do own a lot of Makeup Revolution's palettes, and what I like about them is their color range in their palettes is very diverse. And I also like the way they blend, and they're also very affordable. But I must say that some of them are hit and miss. They either are applying patchy, or they either are not sufficiently pigmented in order to achieve the look you might be going for, so a more darker look. Now, in regards to these new quads, they are absolutely beautiful. So the packaging is A plus, and I am curious to see how they will be performing today. I have ordered just one of them because well, I'm a neutral girl, and I've seen that they have in this range 6 palettes. The price is I think $12.99 on their site, and on Beauty Bay they are, I think, 12 euros. So they are a bit more expensive than the usual palettes, but I think this is due to the new packaging that is bomb. And now I will be showing you. So this is the Ultimate Eye Look palette, combination of complementing shadows in a jewel encrusted palette. Now this is the external packaging, and this is the actual palette packaging. So it's indeed encrusted with some pearls, I think, and it's very shiny, feminine, and glamorous. And for $12.99, which you would get for this price, you would get like many shadows in a palette, Makeup Revolution palette. Now you get like 4. You also get a mirror in this quad, and I must say that they look stunning. Also, the eyeshadows are kind of what I go for on a daily basis, so that's why I was much attracted of this palette, on this palette. So I will be trying today and see which is the blend of these eyeshadows, if they are sufficiently pigmented, and I'm very curious about this beige shadow here, because I don't know if it's sufficiently pigmented, not only as a transition but also as a crease color. So we'll be testing that in a minute. And I've also ordered, as I said, the bronzer, which the packaging is very similar to the quads packaging, but this is a bronze and not a gold color, and it has a like fake leather print on it, very nice. It's a greeny color, and I've went for the most fair shade, which is Bahia, and this is the outer packaging. Very nice, and as I said, the packaging is one of the reasons that I wanted to try these products. So we'll go ahead and use first the eyeshadow quad, and afterwards I will be finishing my look with the bronzer and applying the blush, the highlighter. I don't have, I think I no longer have blush Makeup Revolution palette, but I do have their highlighters, the Sofx. I do have the quads highlighter, I think. So I think I will be using that. And for blush I will be using something different, and I also do have a Makeup Revolution lipstick, so we'll be trying a bunch of Makeup Revolution products in this video. Then let's get started. So I will be taking my dear horns because I don't like to have my hair in the way when I'm doing makeup. So I've already done my base. I've used the Revlon Candid foundation and the Revlon Candid concealer, and I've powdered. Before I will start, I will be applying some powder on or under my eye, because I don't know if they have a bunch of fallback, so I want to make sure that they will not screw my my foundation over. So let me just shortly do that. I hope not to get all this powder on my trousers. And by the way, I'm using the Lace Revolution powder. I just put it in I think it's a Rimmel container, and I do like very much this powder because it does brighten under the eye, and it does set very well the concealer, so it's a very nice shade also for me. Okay, and I think now we can start. I will be taking a blending brush, and this is just a bit stained from when I used it last time. Now in quarantine I did not perform many looks because well, I just don't feel that I would it would have any sense, but sometimes I just do it because I do feel a bit better about myself in this situation. So I will be taking the lighter shade in the palette. Is this I think it's neutral peachy shade. I do hope it is sufficiently pigmented, and I would take a bit. They do have a bunch of fallout, so I just put my brush into it, and you can see already that's a lot of kickback. So I'm not pretty much bothered about this, but yeah, you have to be careful. Okay, so I've already primed also my eyes with concealer and powder, so I can now go and start applying the eyeshadow. So let's see what happens. Now, from the first application, I don't see that it is pretty much pigmented, so I guess it's quite of a buildable shade. It is a very nice color, and yeah, I think we'll have to build it a bunch. It's also very dusty. So as I said, the Makeup Revolution eyeshadows are sometimes, you know, a bit lackluster because they're not as pigmented as the seen in the pan. So see, I'm dipping many times in the pan in order to get the payoff that I want. It's not much that pigmented, so it's a bit of a more transition shade and not a crease shade, because I usually do apply shadows layered. So first I go with a lighter transition shade, then I go with the more, let's say, tiny bit more pigmented shade, and afterwards I go with the darker shade in the outer corner. But this would be just a transition shade and not it's not that pigmented, but it's a nice color, I have to say. So I think we'll have to do it with that. I will be applying this shadow to the other eye. But you do have to deepen it many times in order to get the payout that you want. Now, as a diversity in this palette, you do have some options. It's also very easy to travel with it. And now you can go for a matte look, you can go for only a matte look, you can go with the combination of shimmer and matte, you can go with with one shade over the lid look. So you have some combinations, and I think when you're traveling you would not want to do exuberant looks or anything. So I think it's a good palette for that. But I would just have wished for it to be a bit more pigmented. So because they are very dusty eyeshadows, this is not really the most pigmented palette, but it's then a very beginner friendly palette, so you can go ahead and just play with it and not risk to mess up any look if you're not that experienced with eyeshadow. And it blends wonderfully, there is no issue with that. I would just leave it like this if this would be a daily look, but I think I will also go for the darker shadow, and of course I will be applying this very shimmery, foiled and glittery shade. So I'm very curious how that will be applying. So let me take one brush to apply the darker shadow. I'm just cleaning it because they're very, I mean, they're clean, so I use them just once or twice from when I've cleaned them, so it has no sense for me to, you know, go and use a new brush. And let me also take the blending one. So what I like to do is to take first a flat fluffy brush, and I apply the color to my outer corner, and afterwards I go in with a smaller blending brush and I blend the outer corner. So let's see how pigmented this is. And by the way, I did not see any fallout from the first shade. Let's see if this darker one, this dark brown, would have any fallout. So I like to go and up in the crease, and then I like to take some on the blending brush. I like to use this kind of a brush for blending the outer corner, and then I add more in the crease and blend out. It's not much that pigmented again. It's, let's say it's a medium brown. It's not really a dark brown, and you really have to build the color up in order to, you know, get a more of a payout. It's a nice color, it blends very well, but it's not that pigmented. So let's say if we compare this to one of the Too Faced dark browns, it has no comparison, because those ones are really pigmented, almost you know, they get closer to maybe a black, so you can really smoke out that outer corner, and you can you know, get of a stronger look. But this is no, this is all right if you want to do a daily look. It doesn't have to be that much powerful, so it works well, and I do like the fact that they blend very well. So let me finish this outer corner. So they do look very, very well, and they are like very much blended. So I will be doing this to the other eye. I'll go ahead and use the shimmery shade. Let me take also a brush and see how this applies with a brush. I just it's very like, it's a very crunchy texture, so I don't know if it will go better with a small and you know, soft brush, or with a stiffer one, but we'll see. So I will take my ring finger. It's like very, very pigmented and foiled, so it's a good thing I don't have long nails, because then it's trickier to use your fingers. Let me just apply this. Now it's a very, very beautiful color. It's something that suits my eyes also, and well, it's a bit glittery. You do have a bit of fallout on the face in this area, and I wonder if this would apply even more powerful if you would wet the brush and pick up the eyeshadow, but I am very satisfied with how it applies. It resembles a lot the shadow in the Too Faced palette, the new Neutrals Too Faced palette that they released, but I think this is a tad more dark. So I'll be applying this also to the other eye. Now I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution Sculpting Bronzer in Bahia, as I said. This is the lightest shade, and well, it seems it's going to suit me, because I am in the lightest shade in most of the bronzers. I'm pretty fair, and I also don't fake tan ever. I just don't know how to do that, and because I do have a sunspot on my face, I'm not a fan neither on the fake tan and neither going outside, because I have to use plenty of sunscreen in order not to have this situation here, which I always try to cover up as well as I can, but well, we always have some uninspired decisions sometimes, and I don't know why I thought when going to the seaside that you can stay outside in the sun and not use sun protection. So that's the situation got overboard, and now I cannot fix it with any of the serums I've used, and with nothing really. So if you have any suggestions how to get rid of sunspots and melasma, then that would be great if something really worked for you. Now I'm picking this on an angled brush. I usually do like to use this, and let's see how this works. Now it's really not that pigmented, so you can build it up, which I very much like. I like to take this up to my temples, to get this sun-kissed look. So the color, I think it's very suited for my skin tone. It's not that, I mean, it's not orange, and it's quite of a nice warm color. And then I usually don't have earrings because I have to apply my makeup, but and they stay in my way whenever I want to apply foundation or anything. So, and I go under my jaw. And usually it is advised for you to take the bronzer on your neck and on your chest in order to match. And well, because I'm pretty fair all over, then I usually don't do that. Just sometimes maybe, but this is pretty much what I do. Then I go on to the other cheek. This is pretty light and not that pigmented, so you can really play with it and build it up. And the formula is very light and very easy to apply. So I will go on my big old forehead, which you have to work on in order not to seem unloved and uncherished. So I have pretty much space on my forehead to apply bronzer. People that have smaller foreheads, they don't have really to apply it because, you know, they don't have to make it look smaller. And I like to blend it over the spot that I have because it's a way to, you know, to cover it a bit and you don't see it that much. Well, in reality, I don't think it shows that much, only if you're paying very much attention to this area. But you can see it in for example, in this light, you can see that I have something brown over here. I will not obsess over it because, well, this is a mistake I did, so I have to really pay for it because I stayed a bunch of time in the sunshine without protection. So then this of course will happen. Okay, so I think this is enough for the forehead, but what I usually like to do is to go once more into the cheek area and make sure that this is pretty much very well chiseled. I usually don't cream contour very often. I think I did this for my wedding day because I wanted for it to last as long as possible, so I did apply cream contour under the bronzer. But for the daily look, I don't do that because it's also time consuming to add one more step to the routine. So I think it looks very well. I do like this bronzer, and I think this will be on my daily product usage because it's very light, it's very buildable, it's a very nice neutral warm tone, so I think it suits very well my skin tone, and I can easily use it every time. So this I like very much. And so to summarize, guys, I think between the Eyeshadow Makeup Revolution Pro Quads and the bronzer, if you have this kind of shades in your collection, I don't think this is worth having, but for the packaging and just because it's very easy to travel with. And if I would say, I would go for the bronzer because it's very easy to use. It's a very nice shade, and if I would have to pick, I would pick the bronzer, because all these other shades I do have in other palettes that are maybe more pigmented than these are. So I would say skip this if you already have such shades in your collection. And I'm pretty sure that if you're a makeup collector, you already have many bronzers in your collection. But this is a very nice to have, and it's a very nice quality bronzer. So if you want a very easy to use bronzer, then this might be your gem. Just be aware of the range that they have, because they have only 5 shades. So if something suits you, then you can go for it. So this was it from my side, and I hope you enjoyed spending this time with me. I hope this demo was helpful for you in some way. Thank you for having me, and see you next time. Have a nice day.